Well, hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today I do have my match reaction behind the Plymouth Argyle versus Hull City game, which ended off in a 1-1 draw. It's a point on the road. A point is a point early on in the season. Our squad hasn't fully gelled yet. You can see it. And not everyone's picked up on the vault ball setup. Time will tell what this squad can achieve. We're undefeated so far in the league, which is a positive. 2 games, 2 1-all draws, 2 points from both of them games. So I'll crack through what happened in the game first, and then I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts, opinions about the players, and what actually needs to happen for this squad to thrive and win games in the championship, as we faced off against 2 sides now that didn't have the best of seasons last season. Plymouth, of course, having a little bit of a worse season than Bristol. So, it was a pretty tight contested first half, I must say. Both teams looking like they was attacking and getting the shots away and the stuff and chances into the areas. And defensively, didn't look like neither team wanted to defend. Every team just wanted to attack, which is the only way I can really describe the entire game, really. Especially in sort of Plymouth area, where they were just hoofing long balls up. They knew that we had defensive troubles. They knew that we didn't cope well on the counter-attacks, on the quick balls up, and so the long balls really troubled us, I must say. I think, though, that Plymouth were unlucky not to score some in the first half, and we were unlucky not to score some in the first half. Omer had a fantastic double shot effort, where it was like 3 players around him. He got a shot away, it was deflected off. He got it again, he was on the fly, he scooped it, it just went wide. And so, yeah, lots of little chances like that, but nothing major, nothing concrete, nothing solid, really. Goals came in the second half, though, from Sissoko, and I said in the first half he was looking like a threat down that left-hand side. He was too much trouble for Regan and Louis Coyle. Both of them looked like they couldn't handle him. Then when we just got a grasp on him, and then we slipped it away, and then that's when he pounced, really. Sissoko with a powerful shot that Panda had no chance of saving. So once again, it's another goal in the league, but it's not Panda's fault. I must say that Panda's been alright. I'll come to his passing in a minute, because that has been a bit of a trouble this game. But Panda's shot stopping has been alright this game and in the championship so far. Louis Coyle then replied 11 minutes later with a fantastic effort. I must say, it was the edge of the area. He plays it off to Liam Miller. Liam Miller plays it back to him after he's calling for it, and he curls it with his left foot just into the top right-hand corner, as you do, pinging off the post and in, and the keeper has no chance. The keeper just goes, wow, yep, that's a goal. Cool as you like it. It's 1-1, and the scoring really stops there. A few substitutions for both sides, really trying to spark something up. I must say that in that second half, Plymouth maybe looked like there was the side looking to go on and grab the win. We didn't really have too much going for us in the forward line, especially moving into the final sort of closing 15 minutes or so. I'll go through to the stats, and then I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on everything in this game. So, as I say, looked like both teams wanted to attack, and the shots do reflect it. 16 shots for Plymouth, 14 for Hull. 7 on target for Plymouth, only 2 on target for Hull. That's where we're lacking. We're not getting the shots on target. If we're getting the shots on target, we're troubling the keeper. I'm sure some of these ones will go in. It's just we're not getting the shots away on target. They're just lackadaisical shots where they're getting either blocked further out, or they're going wide, or they're just very weak shots, and it's just not needed. Possession-wise, we had a 52% favour, but with that, a 442 pass rate compared to a 411 passes for Plymouth. Pass accuracy was 81% for Plymouth, 80% for Hull. Fouls, there was a lot of fouls in this game, not too many yellow cards. 16 fouls Hull committed, 13 fouls Plymouth committed, nearly the same as the goals. And yellow cards wise, there was 3 for Plymouth, 1 for Hull, and 1 for Plymouth for Sissoko taking his shirt off during the celebration. So only 3 cards given away for dangerous play, we'll call it. Offsides, 3 offsides for Hull City. All of them came in the first half, and I believe all 3 of them came from Oscar Estepinian. And then 2 offsides for Plymouth. Corners-wise, Plymouth had to themselves 6 corners, and Hull only had 3. They had quite a few early corners. I think all 3 corners came early on, and then beyond that, they didn't have too much. As I say, they didn't really trouble anything with too many of their shots, which I'll feed on into a minute on why that was a bit more of a fearsome affair. As the table currently stands, Hull City in 17th, Plymouth are in 21st. Of course, that means nothing. We're the second game of the season. Do not panic if you think Hull City's going to stick 17th for the rest of the season. That's cool, but we're probably not. The table will change next week. We've got Leeds one spot above us. It's the table constantly changing everything, so do not panic. Yeah, it's the second game of the season. If the final table is the second game of the season, I'm pretty sure that you'd see the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool in the National League. So don't worry. But something is to worry about is a little bit on the players. So I'll go through the starting 11. I'll give you my honest rating, of course, 1 to 10. New thing we're trying out this season with the reactions. So 1 to 10. Ivo Panda, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he put out a solid performance. His passes maybe could drop him down. I think that's probably why I've dropped him down to a 7. His sideward passes, perfectly fine, not a problem with them whatsoever. It's his passes through the centre, where if he's trying to pass to Simmons or Jones is a little bit further up and he's trying to pass to him, the passes just don't seem to work. He ends up trying to find the opposition. Today it was a Plymouth man and he kept on finding them, and that's how Plymouth gained majority of their chances. Luckily they didn't thrive off any of them, and we were quick to put to bed majority of their chances that they gained from that. But that is something to keep an eye on, because it will come and bite us in the rear end if we're not careful. So 7 for Panda. Giles impressed me at the left-back position. I've been claiming for him to go back to left-back place, and he has done, and he put in a very, very, an okay performance, I must say. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought that he put in some good balls forward, especially later on in the game. I must say Giles seems to have something left in the tank later on in the game where other players don't. Sean McLaughlin, yeah, maybe not the best of games for him. His defensive headers, I think, have come on leaps and bounds this season, no pun intended. But I am going to give him a 5 match rating. Alfie Jones, once again, Alfie Jones has been fantastic. It's the defensive partnership of him and Charlie Hughes should be what we saw last season with Jones and Greaves. Of course, Jones has excelled a little bit more under Volta and hopefully Hughes can do the same. But Jones, I am going to give a 7 match rating. Louis Coyle, who I'm going to give our man of the match to, as he put in quite a little shift on that right hand side, especially later on in the game once Sissoko was out of the picture, and he of course grabbed the equalising goal, and the goal that saved us a point. So I'm going to give him an 8 match rating. So of course it's telling you something when the man of the match is an 8 match rating. We can go up to 10, and I am happy enough to give 10s out on a daily basis. But yes, so Louis Coyle an 8. Xavier Simmons, he put an okay shift in. He was a little bit invisible, I thought, in that midfield. He didn't contribute too much in the midfield. Certainly in the second half, he could put in a bit more of a shift. I'm going to give him a 6, maybe a 6.5 if I'm allowed to. Or you were going to allow me to give him a 6.5. But he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything majorly right either. Liam Miller, he picked up the only yellow card for City. Was also subbed off on the left-hand side. He did quite well. I'm going to give him a 6.8 or something like that, very close to a 7. And I think he quite had the crossing ability and everything to be a 7. He had a fantastic shot at one point where he was outside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Curled was shot, and it was just going to go into the top right-hand corner, and it just went wide, which was a bit unlucky. Marvin Mahelm, very, very impressed with him. Once again, another 7 for him. I think that he is going to very quickly become a very Hull City favourite. And I've been calling him the German George Honeyman, which his playstyle very much reflects it. Abdush Amer, another okay game by Abdush. I don't think that he really is in the position at the moment to thrive. And I think that maybe come down to something I'll talk about in a minute on what should happen with Regan Slater. But Abdush Amer, I'm going to give him a 6.5 as well. I thought that he did all right. Nothing too commanding. Of course, he had a few shots at goal, but nothing really that was going to result in goals. They were just in good places where his shots maybe should have done a little bit better. Regan Slater. Now, Regan Slater, I'm a big lover of 50 grand Regan Slater. Everyone knows that. I'm pretty sure that everyone is at Hull City. But the tides can quickly turn on him. He hasn't been doing the best this season. We'll admit it. It's 3 games in, including the Carabao Cup game, 2 games in the league, and even a bit in pre-season. Fans were saying, why is he not passing forwards? He's not really adapting to this Tim Volta setup. Whether this style of football is not suited for him, maybe so. But I think that it might be a time for Slater to go onto the bench and see Will Jarvis take his starting spot over on that right-hand side, that right-hand wing, if you want to call it that. As Will Jarvis, he was a thriving force when he came on. I'll come to him in a minute when I go through the ratings for the bench. But Regan Slater, it is going to have to be a 5 for me for Regan Slater. I don't think that he is suited at the moment for the Tim Walter setup. I'm very happy for my opinion to change next week when we face on Millwall, I believe, at home. But yeah, so it's a tough one with Regan Slater at the moment. Frontman Oscar Estepinian, once again, didn't really do too much. He was offside, as I say, quite a few times, which negated a few of the attacks. So I'm going to give him a 5. It's middle of the park. He didn't contribute with too much forwards, backwards, sideways. Yeah, so we'll come to the bench. Finley Burns, he came on for Abdushamir in a bit of a weird one. I must say that he did all right for his appearance. Of course, I can't give him quite as high of a rating as he maybe would deserve if he played more minutes, because he did only come on for, I think, maybe about 10 or so minutes for Abdushamir. But I thought he impressed me. I said it on the live stream if you was watching. I was a bit confused why he came on for Abdush rather than Xavier Simmons, who picked up or went down with his groin and holding his groin, but he seemed to play on fine. I was confused why he didn't come on for Xavier Simmons. But I was impressed with what he did, so I'm going to give him a 5.5 just because he came off the bench. It could be higher in all reality. Will Jarvis, as I say, he's a driving force going forwards. He is what we need from the starting moment. He just needs that one moment for him to land that spot in the lineup. I think maybe if he continues to work well through training this week, Tim Walter could see him and go, yeah, he's come off the bench twice now. He did a good performance in the Carabao Cup as well. I want him to start. I know certainly I want him to start, and I know there's some fans out there as well that want him to start. He did well on loan at Shelbourne, and at the moment he is, I think, the better option than Regan Slater on that right-hand side. So Will Jarvis, I'm going to give him a 6 match rating. Of course, came off the bench, so take that into account. Tyrell Sellers-Fleming, he came on for Regan Slater, or Liam Miller. I can't remember, one of the two. But Tyrell Sellers-Fleming didn't do too much. He had a few touches on the ball. I'm going to give him a 4 match rating just because he came off the bench. I didn't feature too prominently. Mason Burstow, he got his Hull City debut on for Oscar Estepinian it was. And yeah, it's a fun one. I thought that he would be a bit more pacey than what he is. He doesn't seem to have any pace in the tank, so doesn't really seem to be making the runs on beyond the defensive line. He's very good at chasing down, and he's good at applying the press. I'll give him that. He definitely applied a lot of press, and he was very close to picking up balls and taking on and getting them quite easy goals, which will benefit him one day. I'm sure he'll grab goals for that if he keeps that up. Wasn't overly impressed, wasn't displeased with Mason Burstow's debut performance. Of course, it was off the bench. Can't judge it too much. Maybe, I don't think he gave enough to take off the starting role of Oscar Estepinian. I don't think that he's quite at that level yet. Whether it's another week in training with the Volta ball, as I say, maybe that can give him that starting spot. But yeah, Mason Burstow, I'm going to give him a 5.2 match rating. As I thought, he came off the bench, he impressed a little bit, but wasn't quite enough, as I say, to fully impress the Hull City squad. So that's what I think needs to happen along with my match ratings. So yeah, we go again. Let me just double check. I believe our next game is on Saturday against Millwall. Yes, it is. On Saturday at 12:30, we take on Millwall. Of course, we have that trip away to Leeds the following Saturday. So we'll wait and see. Millwall today, I believe that they lost. Yes, they did, because they were playing Bristol City. Bristol City were 2-0 up at half-time. Looked fair enough. Millwall bring it back for 3-2, 3-3. Okay, it's 3-3. Last-minute winner from Scott Twine for Bristol City. Yes, of course, a former Tiger doing well. Shock horror, as he just signed with Bristol City on a permanent deal, I think, yesterday. I I believe it's a permanent, but he's certainly back at Bristol City again from Burnley, and which I believe is a permanent deal. So we'll watch out on that one. Of course, we've luckily missed him for one half of the season. And hopefully he doesn't put a thorn in Hull City side later on. But that's it for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what your thoughts and opinions are on this game and the whole Team Volta setup so far. Of course, it's 2 games in the league, undefeated. We cannot forget that. 2 points from a possible 6. It's maybe not the best. But I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on that. Let me know down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, as there is still more summer signings to come. Apparently 3 more loanees to come before the deadline. And I will be live again with the deadline this year as I was last year. So make sure you like and subscribe by turning your notifications on. You do not miss out on anything on the channel. Also go and check me out on Twitter or X to keep up to date on everything breaking around Hull City. And I will see you in the next video. Up the Tigers. Go on.